This Roblox player kept coming home from school to find that someone had been sleeping in his bed. At first it was tiny, just his blankets folded the wrong way and a dent in his pillow. But over the next few weeks, the signs got bigger, and none of them had any explanation. What was actually happening inside his house is the reason you need to hear this entire story. Cody was 13, and he was always the first one home in his family every single afternoon. His parents both worked late, so the house belonged completely to him from 3 until almost 6. He would unlock the door, drop his bag, grab a snack, and play Roblox until somebody came home. His bedroom was upstairs at the end of the hall, right beneath a small square attic hatch. Nobody in the family had opened that hatch in years, and Cody had never once thought about it. It was just a square in the ceiling, painted the same color as everything else up there. The attic hatch had a small brass ring hanging from it, and it never moved, not once. He was a calm, practical kid who liked games and rules and did not believe in haunted houses. His house was old but ordinary, with creaky floors and a basement full of boxes and dust. His mother worked at a hospital, and his father drove a delivery route far outside their town. They trusted Cody completely, and he had never given them any reason at all to worry. For his entire life, coming home to an empty house had felt completely safe and completely normal. So the first time his bed looked slightly wrong, Cody assumed his mother had simply made it. He told himself she had come home early, tidied his room, and left again before he arrived. But a small, uneasy part of his mind had already started keeping track of every little detail. And Cody was about to learn exactly how quiet a house can be when it is not really empty. The second time it happened, Cody knew for certain that his mother had been at work all day. His blankets were pulled back on the wrong side, and the pillow held a deep, obvious dent. When he put his hand on the sheets, they were faintly warm, as if somebody had just left. He stood in his doorway for a long time, staring at the shape pressed into his blanket. It was the exact size and shape of a person who had been lying there very recently. He checked every room in the house, and every window and door was locked from the inside. Then he started noticing that food was disappearing, but only in very small amounts each day. 2 slices of bread, half a box of crackers, 1 banana. Never enough for anybody to notice. Here is a real and genuinely unsettling thing that happens more often than most people ever realize. There's a word for it, phrogging, which means a person secretly living inside somebody else's home. In one real case in Japan, a man kept noticing small amounts of food missing from his kitchen. He set up a camera, called the police, and they found a woman living in his closet. She had been up there for about a year, sleeping among his blankets, taking only a little food. She never took money, and she never took anything valuable, and he never once heard her. So the missing food and the warm bed were not proof of a ghost, they were proof of a person. Cody did not know any of that yet, and he was still telling himself he was imagining things. Then, one afternoon, he found a single long dark hair lying in the middle of his pillow. Nobody in his family had hair anything like that, and Cody suddenly could not breathe properly. He told his parents that night, and they listened, and then they gently explained it away. They said he was home alone too much, that he had a big imagination, and that houses make noises. That is a completely normal reaction from tired parents, and it is also how these stories get long. So Cody started collecting proof, quietly, the way you would if nobody believed you either. He noticed the attic hatch above the hallway was sitting a few millimeters lower than before. He noticed a faint gray dust print on the carpet, right below that square in the ceiling. He noticed his phone charger had moved to the other side of his desk while he was gone. He started leaving small things in specific places. A pen turned a certain way, a book at an angle. Almost every day, at least one of those things had shifted while he had been at school. And at night, lying very still, he began to hear slow, careful movement above his bedroom ceiling. He began doing his homework downstairs, near the front door, with his phone always in his hand. Here is something incredibly important, and it might be the most useful thing in this whole video. If you ever think that somebody is inside your home, you do not go looking for them. You do not check the attic, you do not open the basement, and you do not search alone. You walk out of the house, you go to a neighbor, and you call for help immediately. People get hurt in these stories at exactly one moment, and it is the moment they go looking. Cody almost went up that hatch a dozen times, and something in him always stopped him. Instead, he did something much smarter, and he set a small trap that could not lie to anyone. He taped a single thin thread across the attic hatch, and he propped his old phone facing it. Then he went to school, and all day he thought about nothing except that thread and that camera. When he came home, the thread was lying broken on the carpet, and his phone had recorded everything. Cody stood in his hallway with his phone in his hand, and he did not press play right there. He did exactly what every safety expert on Earth would have told him to do in that moment. He backed down the stairs, he walked straight out the front door, and he did not look back. He went to his neighbor's house, and he called his mother, and his neighbor called the police. His hands were shaking so badly that he could barely unlock his neighbor's front gate. His neighbor took one look at his face and did not ask him a single question first. Only then, sitting on a stranger's couch with an adult beside him, did he finally watch the video. For 26 seconds, the hallway was empty and still, and Cody almost felt foolish for calling. Then the attic hatch swung down slowly, and a pair of legs appeared, and a person climbed out. They moved carefully and quietly, like somebody who had done it 100 times before that day. They walked into Cody's bedroom, and the video ended, and the whole neighborhood went very quiet. The police arrived within minutes, and they went inside, and Cody waited outside with his mother. They found a person in the attic, and they brought him down without any fight at all. But what the officers found up there was somehow far stranger and sadder than anyone expected. There was a sleeping bag, a folded towel, 3 water bottles, and a phone charger taped to a beam. There was a plastic bag of wrappers, all from the small amounts of food that had gone missing. And there was a notebook, with a page of handwriting that made Cody's mother cover her mouth. It was a schedule, listing when every single person in that family left the house and came back. It said what time his father drove out, what time his mother's shift ended, and one more line. Beside Cody's name, in careful letters, it said the words, "Home first," because he always was. Nobody in that family had heard a single footstep in weeks, and that is the truly frightening part. A person can live above your head for a month if they are quiet enough and careful enough. The person living up there was 19 years old, and he had nowhere at all to go. He had been sleeping in Cody's bed during school hours because it was the warmest room in the house. He had never taken money, he had never broken anything, and he had never once been seen. And here is the part of this whole story that I truly need every single one of you to understand. This is real. It has happened in real houses, and the people found upstairs are usually desperate. That does not make it safe, and it does not mean you should ever try to handle it yourself. It means the small, strange signs in your home are worth telling an adult about immediately. A moved charger, missing food, a warm bed, a sound above your ceiling. None of that is nothing. And if you ever believe someone is inside, you leave the house first, and you call for help. The police took the young man away, and he was charged, and he was also given somewhere to sleep. Cody's parents apologized to him for not believing him the first time that he told them. They put a lock on the attic hatch, they changed every exterior lock, and they added a camera. For a long time, Cody could not sleep in that room, and for a while he slept downstairs. His mother started coming home earlier, and for a whole month she was there when he arrived. That small change did more for Cody than any lock or camera the family ever installed. He never again came home and assumed that a strange little detail meant absolutely nothing at all. He also never forgot that the person above his ceiling had been a teenager with nowhere to live. It had been terrifying, and it had also been sad, and both of those things were completely true. Then, one afternoon, months later, Cody was cleaning, and he found the copy of that schedule page. He read his own name, and the 2 careful words beside it, and he felt the whole thing again. He put it away, he checked the locks, and he went downstairs to wait for his mother. And Cody finally understood the one thing that this entire terrifying year had been trying to teach him. An empty house is only empty if somebody has actually checked. And that somebody is never you. Have you ever come home and felt completely certain that something in your room had been moved? Tell me exactly what happened down in the comments below, because I really do want to know. If you watched all the way to the end, then you already know to never go looking alone. Subscribe so you never miss another story that keeps you and the people you love a little safer. Take care of each other out there, and I will see you again in the very next one.